Hey there, so today we're going to be taking a look at Valorant running on both the Beelink SER5 mini PC and the SER6 mini PC. So this is really a comparison of the Ryzen 5 5600H versus the Ryzen 5 6600H. Now what's interesting about these two chips is that CPU-wise they're practically identical. They're running on the exact same Zen 3 architecture, though the 6600H is on what's called Zen 3 Plus, which is literally just Zen 3 but on a slightly more refined node. And what we get out of this is just slightly higher boost clocks overall, but IPC wise we're pretty much identical. So CPU wise these two chips are extremely similar. The biggest differentiating factor here is of course the iGPU, where one is rocking the old Vega based Radeon 7. The Ryzen 5 6600H is now rocking the Radeon 660M, which is now based on the RDNA 2 architecture. It does have 6 of those cores, and its maximum boost clock is actually 1900 in comparison to the Radeon 7, which has 7 cores with a maximum boost clock of 1800 megahertz. Now I decided to single this game out in particular because it does show something very interesting overall about these two chips. In terms of the overall result that we actually end up getting here, they're very similar to each other. Now keep in mind, what you're looking at right now is not on the exact same map, but this was after multiple rounds. This is pretty much an average across all 3 different games that I did on each system. Valorant is one of those games where it's very difficult to do testing like this just because you can't really select the map you're going to be playing on. It's just random. But in general, they've actually done a really great job of keeping performance very consistent across all the maps. Really, the biggest variance that I would see is like usually across maybe 5 FPS on the 1% lows or the averages. But in general, the result that we actually ended up getting here just shows a slight bump in performance, but nothing drastic. And the reason being is that it really all just comes down to that CPU. It doesn't really matter how much faster the RDNA 2 iGPU is. The limiting factor here is actually just that CPU. And since there is no real large IPC gain, we're not seeing any massive gains overall in terms of performance. So in general, if you're looking to play these lighter titles that are very CPU bound, there really actually is not much of an incentive for you to get something with a 6600H, because you're going to end up running into the exact same CPU limitation as you would with a 5600H. Overall though, I do recommend just getting the Beelink SER6 over the SER5 if you have the money for it, but it does really come down to the types of games that you like to play. But we're going to be doing a pretty massive comparison between the SER5 and the SER6, so stay tuned for that. I just wanted to signal this game out to explain to you that the 6600H isn't a complete 100% upgrade over this. It really comes down to very specific scenarios where it really just depends on the type of gamer that you are, but we'll go more into depth on that in the full video. So I'll catch you guys in the next one.